clock admitted up. That's all there is to it. My everything. Your
My
clock, your
phone.
computer says 11:30.
My phone's-
All right, we're going to call this commission meeting to order. It's 11:30 in Brigham City, Utah. So we went through our administrative operational session earlier and made a couple changes to the agenda, and we'll go along with that in just a second. But we just want to make one more thing. We're going to move item number 17, the Legacy Pro Rodeo Service Contract, up to into the number 8 spot. So it'll be right after our employee recognition, so we'll make that change. And that should be really the only changes at this point that we haven't talked about. So with that, we'll start off with an invocation by Commissioner Summers, followed, which will all stand and will follow me in the pledge.
Our dear kind Heavenly Father, as we come before Thee today as a commission to do Thy work, we appreciate Thy hand in all the things that we do. We understand that all good things come from Thee, and help us to help others. Please watch over our families while we're away. Please help those law enforcement officers that keep us safe here and abroad. Help us that we might be able to continue to see what's going on in the world and not have it affect us as much as we do. Again, we appreciate living in a free country and being able to worship the way we do, and to be able to say a prayer and a pledge in our open meetings. And we ask these favors and blessings in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Everybody will please rise, give the proper hand salute.
Liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we need to deal with approval of the minutes from the April 17th meeting.
I'll make a motion we approve the minutes from April 17th, 2024.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Summers, second from Commissioner Bingham to approve the minutes from April 17th, 2024. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. All right. Anything on administrative review, reports, or future agenda items? Okay, nothing there. Any former agenda items we need to talk about?
Just that we've talked about.
What's that?
I said just the stuff that we've already talked
Oh,
about.
in the administrative, yes.
Right.
Okay, well, the only thing I did need to go back to administrative review. Just be aware, on the May 29th meeting, we will be making some schedule changes to the commission meeting schedule. So most likely, because we're having this one today and the one on the 29th, most likely, unless there's something pressing matter, we will cancel the June 5th commission meeting. There will be a June 19th commission meeting, and then we'll be moving the July 3rd commission meeting to July 9th so that we can handle the primary canvassing report on July 9th. So that will all be on the May 29th agenda to deal with that schedule change for the commission. And let's see, so that's just there. And then emergency management issues, I don't think there's anything we need to worry about right now. In our LATCF, there's nothing on that. So let's go to our employee recognition, our Box Elder County employee recognition. We have with us an individual that was nominated. Easton Waite of the Sheriff's Office was nominated as our Employee of the Month for this month. Easton is our Spillman administrator, and he takes care of a lot of hassles with Spillman for not just the county, but a lot of other agencies that contact him and need information. And the recommendation is that he helps with, not only does he do Spillman, and that's part of his assignment with the Sheriff's Office, he does all the background checks for not only all of our employees that work at the Sheriff's Office, but all of our volunteers. Every background check that has to be done in this county all falls back to Easton, which is one of those other duties is assigned, and we appreciate his efforts and the things he does to keep all the volunteers and folks in our county working and able to support our county and helping us in the things we go forward. He also assists our technology, our IT department, when things get spread out. He's very helpful to them, and he knows his job well, and the technology or the IT department depends on him regularly to help them with Spillman installation needs and occasionally connectivity issues that come up with the Spillman. They said he's always willing to help out wherever he can, and he's got a great attitude and demeanor. And they've heard from other law enforcement agencies as well as to how helpful Easton is when he's taking care of these issues for them, and what a great job he does. He makes our IT department's job easier. They, according to them, they're grateful because they used to have to handle all these things, Easton, and so they're grateful to you for what you do as a county employee. And with that, we'd like to have you come up and recognize you as our County Employee of the Month.
Plus he keeps track of Commissioner Summers every time he needs something.
Somebody's got to keep track
I know.
Should I give it to you? We'll get a picture here. All right. Okay, there's that. Yeah, there's that. And then we'll get with you. Either get you, we'll work it out with you and clean with that to either get you dinner or a gift. So, okay? Thank you. Appreciate all you do. Okay. We have amazing employees in this county. It's a great pleasure to be able to recognize the great things they do for us and to keep this county moving forward. It really is, it's amazing to see the different recommendations and the things these employees step up and do to keep us going forward. So we appreciate them. So we're going to move that item, as we mentioned, item 17, we're going to move that up now to the Legacy Pro Rodeo Service Contract 2418. Jan, I know you've got some guests. Do you want to come up here? And I know you didn't want to do it by
You
yourself,
might have
so
to grab some chairs.
you can bring them up, and we'll have everybody introduce themselves and tell us about the Legacy Pro Rodeo Service Contract.
Do you want to start?
We're supposed to introduce yourself.
Yep.
Just for the record.
Brent Rose, member of the rodeo committee.
If you want to twist that microphone so they can hear you.
J.D. Wild.
Okay. Yep.
Jan Rhodes, Fair Board.
Okay. Who's going to take the lead?
I can.
Okay.
Have you had the opportunity to read the contract, you gentlemen?
Yep, we got a copy of the contract here, yep.
As you know, last year, Barty Rodeo sold out to Legacy Pro Rodeo.
You need to sit up or.
Pardon me.
There you go.
Last year, Barty Rodeo sold out to Legacy Pro Rodeo. And we had a year, we were bound with them for a year, and which was good to see if we, if we were comfortable with them as people, not only as a production company, but as people. Patrick Witham and his group, we feel are good people. And so with that said, we have been doing a 3-night rodeo, plus our Wednesday night has become the Bulls and Bronx on a professional level. We've tried hard to talk them into letting us have a 4-night rodeo without what we call a 2-header. So it's just one time 4-night rodeo. And this has been approved this year, so we have switched to a 4-night every event, still keeping our local events. We'll have the calf scramble, the calf scramble and the stick course races on, and the stock saddle bronc riding on Wednesday night for the locals. We'll still have the mutton busting on the other 3 nights. This contract reflects the 4-night contract. Wednesday night was our most expensive night because of of having the amount. One contractor could not take care of Wednesday night. So, but also with the price of fuel and just new companies, everything, the price has gone up. But I think we feel it's a fair price. We feel comfortable with everything that we've put into it. And so I guess we would ask that it be approved as a committee. Any questions that you have?
No, I think it's a good idea that we change Wednesday and Thursdays to family nights. I think that's going to help put some more butts in the seats, plus the 4-night rodeo, that's all PRCA. So I think that's going to help cover some of these costs, even though because Wednesday night's the only night we haven't sold out.
Right.
So I think that's going to help a bunch.
I think we had a meeting Monday night, and we will, Wednesday night this year will be a family night, as well as we will have a food drive that night for Brigham and Tremont, that we'll donate the food to. We'll ask people to bring cans of food, but it's also will be domestic awareness. A lot of the rodeos around the country are wearing purple that night, and it's to recognize that domestic violence takes place and that we're trying to do something about it. So
great
that
idea,
that will be a new addition to the rodeo this year. So.
Good.
Okay.
One thing, I know it's not part of the contract, I was just curious if you could, I know in the years past, a lot of the contestants, we give them tickets to come and, just give to family members to go to the rodeo. Would there be a way we could reach out to them and say, look, if you're not gonna use the tickets, we could maybe, I was thinking we could use our tourism department, could maybe give those tickets out day of. Obviously, they may not know till the day of, but if they didn't, if they could get with our tourism department, they could use that as a way to promote the rodeo with people who may not be able to get there otherwise.
Marla and JD and I just discussed that this morning, and we have held those tickets typically till about 7:30. Marla's picked them up, and we've been able to sell a lot of those tickets. We're mandated to have tickets for, at least 2 tickets for, and if they, some of them don't use them, if they got a couple kids, we'll give them the tickets. But I think this year that we will put in the Cowboy Journal, that we'll have a cutoff of maybe even 7:15 this year. And Marla will take those tickets. And with the new ticketing company that we're using, you feel you might be able to even put them back online right then. And so there's a few blank spots. And most of those would be tickets that are purchased by, I'm not sure who, but they have paid for the tickets.
Yeah, no, that get- yep.
We see that at the beginning of the rodeo. We look up and sometimes the stands aren't completely full until halfway through the grand entry. But the seats are paid for,
Right.
And so that makes it nicer for the people, and so but that's kind of what we're doing.
Fantastic.
We can't thank you guys enough for the things you've done. I mean, it's been amazing to see the growth and the stuff that's happening. I mean, every time I bring somebody up here, they're amazed. I mean, the lieutenant governor just was amazed at what we've done up here in Box Elder. So, and it's because of you guys of why it's been such a great event. So,
Because of a lot of people, we have a lot of help. And,
We do.
We've been fortunate to kind of stay up with, rodeo is moving fast and it's changing fast, and I guess through our good luck, we've kept moving a little bit. Try to stay a little bit ahead of the curve, so we have become one of the recognized rodeos in the country. There's over 700 PRCA rodeos, and I think we're ranked about 39th in the country. As far as prize money, our prize money will go up this year. Their points are dollars. I mean, that's how they get points to go, and so but we appreciate the support of the commission as well.
Good.
So
Fantastic. Any other questions?
No, just appreciate all you do.
just make a motion that we approve the contract for the bar. What is it?
Okay, so we have a motion to approve Legacy Pro Rodeo Service
Legacy,
Contract
sorry, I said- almost
2418.
said the old one.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Summers, a second from Commissioner Bingham. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we'll
Thanks, you
take care.
guys.
Thanks.
Hey, you guys can sit through the rest of the meeting if you want to stay.
thank you.
Okay. So we're going to go to our next item. We'll go down to the original item, number 8, which is public interest presentation by the Bear River Health Department. And I don't see Esty here, but we have the director,
have the
Jordan Mathis, is here to present to us. So
Main guy,
there you go.
you can just chuck mine. Thanks, man.
Yep.
For those that are interested in the audience, this report is
We
our
need to, we need to have
Oh.
you say your name.
Jordan Mathis, Director of the Bear River Health Department.
Thank you.
This report is a public report on our website at brhd.org. By state statute, we're required to report to the counties and any municipalities in our area our outcomes for the last year. Our annual report serves as that. I'll touch on it real quickly. We have a 9-member board. You obviously appoint several of those members. You can see those that aren't from Box Elder County and who they represent. I really want to touch on the graphic there that's part of the director's message because this is really critical to kind of our thought process and our strategy as we move forward. We really believe as we strive to be a great organization, we'll recruit great individuals to serve our communities. As we have those great individuals, we'll create great community partnerships. This is really core and foundational because public health doesn't happen in a silo. It happens across our community and requires partnership. And as those partnerships are created and fostered, we have increased opportunities. That says services, as we've talked about that internally, it's really comes out as opportunities that may be in the form of a service, that may just be increased access to greater opportunities for our residents in our communities. All those things will lead us to reaching healthy people. Our vision as a health department is healthy people and healthy communities. And those four things are key. And so we've set up our annual report in those areas. So the first section is a great organization. We've undergone a quality improvement process at the health department where we're actively soliciting the public's input on how we can better serve our community. That QR code there at the bottom takes individuals to a brief form where they can offer input and suggestions to us. That just rolled out, and we're going to continue that, and we're going to monitor that, and we're going to address issues. We also look at it as a way of being able to recognize those employees that go above and beyond, and part of that being a great organization. Key to that is also fiscal responsibility. The Bear River Health Department is fiscally responsible. We always operate within our budget. If you want to see what that budget's made up of, 11% comes from the tax base of the 3 counties that we serve. 29% comes from fees. That's wrong. 28. It says 28, but it's 29. Those are fees that we collect from a permit, things like that. And then 60% of our overall budget comes from contracts that we receive from either Department of Health and Human Services or DEQ, and then some other small contracts here and there. Any questions on the finances? We just passed our audit, no findings. That was great. Community partnership, we just wrapping up what we call our CHIP, or Community Health Improvement Plan. That is engagement across our 3 counties that's really driven by our community health assessment. And it's saying, what are the things that we're going to improve on? Top of that list is mental health. I'll talk a little bit about that in some of the data. Another one is access to affordable housing. Has been an issue that's been identified, and how do we collectively as a community try to address that? So a lot of things that fall into the bucket of what we call social determinants of health, those things that may not seem like they impact our health, but they do over time. And so we're working on that cross-section. Education was also another one, making sure that we have access to great education and that we have individuals engaging in that. One other thing there, we've also increased data transparency. We've actually been working with our hospital systems and healthcare providers to provide dashboards. They're currently down on our website. We're doing some maintenance on those and should be back up in about a week or so. But we worked with them to ask the physicians what kind of things, particularly around communicable disease, most interest you and help you in the work that you do. And so those are available. Jumping next to access to services or opportunities.
Before you go, Director, I do want to point out
Yeah.
on page 5 and on the community partnership, the barcode or the little QR code on there for people who want to find out. I mean, there was some concerns I had. Box Elder County has some higher areas like cancer. We have a higher incidence of cancer here in Box Elder County than they do in the other 2 counties in our Bear River District.
Yeah.
There's other things we can learn. Some things are lower, some things are not, but it's beneficial information to go to that QR code to gather some of those things about communicable diseases here in the Bear River District, and especially for us in Box Elder County. So I appreciated that.
Yeah. This other one is really the access to services. What we decided to highlight is really isolated to Cache County, as it's an admissions county. But I think it illustrates the overall trend that we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure that we create increased opportunities. We're one of the few areas, we're in the state, we are the only, and as far as we can tell in the nation, we're the only jurisdiction, one of the few jurisdictions, if not the only, that has allowed mobile emissions testing. Modern vehicles don't need something jammed up their tailpipe for you to know what's coming out of it. The computer on board can tell you that same information. And so we were approached by somebody that said, can I be mobile? And we looked at our regulation and it said, it is a fixed facility. And so the board voted and said, we'll do a pilot program. The pilot went really well. It's increased the availability of emissions testing in Cache County. And they moved from, it's still under a pilot, but we moved forward with changing that regulation. It will be under a hearing on January 5th. And then the Cache County Council will have an opportunity to vote on that change that would allow for mobile emissions. That just increases access. That picture right there is actually a picture of this gentleman testing my vehicle because I was 3 days late. I realized I woke up one morning and I said, oh, I didn't do that. And so it was super convenient for him to come to the office and do that. We're trying our best to increase opportunities for people to be able to do what they need to do and increase services. And once again, that's not a service we provide. We regulate that. But allowing those that we regulate to be able to provide great service to our community is an important aspect of that. Some of the things that Commissioner Perry highlighted is jumping to healthiest people. All these metrics are around how do we get to healthy people. And internally, we are looking at key performance indexes and kind of honing those in. But leading causes of death will always be one of those things that we look at. I want to highlight the fact that heart disease is on the top there. And I want to highlight the fact that I don't know that that's entirely a bad thing. I'll give the case of my grandfather. He was 96 and he died of heart disease. He lived a great life, but they basically said, your heart is just getting old and it's going to give out. And so that may be an indicator that we're living long enough to just allow our hearts to die. There's other things that contribute to heart disease, obviously, but I don't think we'll ever get that out of the top three, possibly. As Commissioner Perry said, we're seeing an increase in the deaths from cancer across our jurisdiction, and we want to look into that and kind of understand a little bit more about that. Unintentional injuries are down, though, and that's a good thing. Typically, those are the leading causes of those are motor vehicle crashes and poisonings, and those things are trending in a good direction. If you notice COVID-19, it has the most drastic drop, and we continue to anticipate that will drop completely out as the severity of that disease goes down with immunity in our community. One of the ones that's tied back to that topic of mental health is we're seeing across the state increases in deaths by suicide, and that is an area that we are looking at. In fact, the board agreed to work with the state on doing suicide fatality reviews for a sampling of deaths from our three counties. Chronic lower respiratory disease, deaths from that have gone down, and that's a good thing. So kind of highlight the demographics there. We include those because if you really want to change individual health outcomes, education and income are the two primary drivers of those things. And really in our jurisdiction, we do fairly well in those areas. If you can look from the county health rankings, Box Elder County jumped from number 11 in 2022 to number 10 in 2023. So from those health rankings, things are moving in a positive direction. The rest of these, I'll kind of just let you take a look at. Actually, I did want to highlight our behavioral health services, particularly in the Brigham area out of this office. We're seeing an increase in participation, individuals that were served. We're also seeing an increase in intakes, which goes, the drug court graduates have stayed pretty steady. However, individuals who entered drug court and were unsuccessful have actually gone up. But we're hopeful that, and we continue to try to fill gaps with regards to this issues around mental health and making sure that we have access to individuals. We really don't have a long wait list for mental health services, and we try to make sure that we can get individuals in there. We do have a sliding scale for individuals that may not be insured, and we work with individuals as best we can when we can. This might be interesting to you, the car seat safety one, Commissioner. If you know, the biggest risk to a kid's life up until the age they're about 14 is when you put them in your vehicle. And so we've had a motor vehicle safety program. The key of that is our car seat safety and making sure that they're installed correctly. And that program continues to be successful despite the fact that it's been flat funded for decades. Parents still are able to come and get the education they need and feel like it's working well. So, any questions?
Well, I just want to point out a couple other things. You've been very great to work with us. We've had some water issues here in the county with water, septic things that you've been great to work with, which is also a benefit to our county. And I know, and I also got the opportunity to meet with your governing youth council. You have youth from every school within the Bear River District that participate in your governor youth council for the health department, which is impressive. And this year, they got with our representative, Tom Peterson, and got some legislation on e-cigarettes passed, or was it?
It was around the tobacco quit line.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't require parental consent for a minor to call in there.
Got some cool things changed. So we appreciate all that you're doing and working with everybody. So thank you.
Yeah, there's challenges ahead, and we realize that our partnership with the county and the support from the governing bodies of the county is critical in addressing those challenges as we move forward. So we appreciate the support from you all.
Thanks, bud.
Thank you.
Appreciate all you do.
Okay, we'll go to the next item on the agenda, 9A, interlocal public defender contract 2415. Mr. McGinnis. We'll do that one, then we'll follow up with 2416.
Thank you. Mike McGinnis, Managing Defender for Box Elder and Cache County.
Go ahead.
So we have two public defender contracts that need to be signed. We had one public defender contract, or one public defender who left. We have a new one that we've hired. And then we realized we didn't have in an audit, we realized we didn't have a contract for one of our public defenders that we needed to. So we fixed that. That's Mr. Malone.
We've had one with him in the past.
Yeah.
It just didn't get renewed, so we have.
Yeah. So we had one in the past. We just needed to get it in writing. So that's what those two contracts are at this point.
Okay. So it's
So the number
Kurt.
is 2415 and 19.
2415 and 2419. So 19 is, because I'm looking at, I'm showing 16 and 15 on mine, but,
15 is Kurt Helgeson and 19 is Malone.
so 15 is Kurt Helgeson. Okay. And then Malone is the other one. Okay.
I'll make a motion, we approve the interlocal public defender contracts.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Summers, a second from Commissioner Bingham to approve the interlocal public defender contracts 2415 and 2419. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
That takes care of both of them at once.
Awesome. Great.
Thanks. Okay, anything else?
Then, did we want to talk about the
The public defender grant, right?
grant? So
Okay,
are we
that's
good with
next.
that? Okay.
Yep, go ahead with that.
So we just applied for our 24-25 public defender grant. The IDC notified us a few weeks ago that they actually got their funding cut this last legislative session, so they're not going to be handing out more grants. We're hoping that we don't get cuts from our grants. So we're waiting to find out that. That's something the grants will be coming out here in June. Depending on how that goes, we may need to come address the commission more and see what happens. But I'm confident that they're going to renew. I think they were happy the way we were doing things, and and whatnot. So I don't think that's going to happen. But we're just asking for only thing we ask for is all the grants be renewed. So we just need that signed for this next year.
Okay. Any discussion of the public defender grant, 2416?
No, I'll make a motion that we approve the public defender grant 2416.
Second.
Okay, have a motion from Commissioner Summers, a second from Commissioner Bingham to approve the public defender grant 2416. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, passes.
I don't have that grant. Does Annie have that?
Annie has it. She's going to send it over
Writing it
to
up
you.
right now.
Well, actually, she's signing the other ones we needed to sign, so.
Yeah, I didn't realize you'd have it. I sent it to Annie. She just approved it.
Okay.
I'll have her send it over to you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you,
Great.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
all right.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks, Michael.
Okay, let's go to Auditor's Office. Charlene?
Charlene Larson, County Auditor. We just did a slight update to our previous tax sale ordinance and added a section of eligibility requirements. So that section 4 in the thing makes it so that there's certain things that they have to comply or have done in order to be a tax sale
Okay,
buyer. I was trying
Yeah.
to think of the right word.
right.
The main thing is, if we find someone that's attempting to sell parcels that were non-compliant, we would like to not have them buy more the following years, so
Yeah, we have our fair share of people.
that's the reason why we felt like we needed to update, and Annie also added in some other things, so that were good as far as requirements.
And I know we were talking a little bit about some things with the different tax sale portion. I'm just wondering about we can update something to the effect of if they have over 5 years, then they're not eligible to bid on a tax sale on their own property.
She actually added, well, yeah, I don't know if we said you couldn't bid on your own, because there are some circumstances or concern on one parcel this year, so. I don't know. We'll have to-
Annie, you want to,
The requirement change that we added in there, we added a section that says they have to meet these for eligibility. One of them is that they can't have any outstanding property tax due.
Okay.
And so that
Probably
may
cover it.
Do you
address
think that
that
might cover
issue.
it?
I think so.
because they'd have to come back in and pay before they.
I mean, it means they could show up the day before the auction and pay their past due tax
Right.
and then bid on it. So there's still an opening where someone could bid on their own property.
If they
If
complied
they
with
pay
it.
it off, I'd take it off the tax
Yeah.
sale up to the last minute before the tax sale happens, though.
Okay.
So, yeah,
So that's the requirement right now. That, and
That's
I
just
think
my concern
I
is
think
that,
that will cover it, now that I'm thinking about
Okay.
it.
okay.
all right.
And then the only other thing I was thinking of is about different entities being, I mean, how do we know when they come, somebody's got 15 different entities, but they're basically attached to that same property? Is there any way to be able to make sure, like you said, when they bid, that they've already passed all these things? I mean,
so that one's a little bit trickier. If you've got people who've set up like LLCs or different holding companies, each one legally would be treated as an individual entity. And so even if one of their entities is past due on property tax, the other entity that might be bidding on it, if it's free and clear, then they can bid on it.
okay,
Yep.
all right, okay,
Okay,
thank you.
any action on ordinance 595, the update on the tax sale ordinance?
I'll make a motion, we approve ordinance 595, an update on the tax sale ordinance.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Summers, a second Commissioner Bingham to approve ordinance 595, an update to the tax sale ordinances. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes unanimous. All right, now we're going to go into the public hearing, right? You ready
Yeah,
for
I didn't
that?
know if you wanted to bring it up on the screen as far as the amendments, and then you can go into a public hearing. I didn't know if you had any questions prior to that.
Is that
but
available to, Chrissy, is that available on there to go to that?
I thought it was, yeah. It's kind of small. It is available on our website as well, under budget and budget amendment.
So we're going to go, do we need a motion to go into the public hearing?
Yes, you do.
So let's,
I'll make a
Have her
motion.
Explain it
What?
first. if
Have her
you want.
You
explain
want
it.
me
oh,
to
you want, yeah, explain it and then we'll
anything?
do that. That's fine.
So as you look down in the orange box at the bottom, you see that the biggest majority is of the changes or increases are from restricted revenue sources. There's only 258,000 that we're having an increase in general fund expenditures. And I've kind of explained that in the explanation box as far as what we're doing. The big one down at the bottom is just moving positions within public safety from inmate worker to the corrections. So we're keeping same number of staff and everything, so there's no increase that way. We had some grants for election equipment. Had to recognize, a big one is the Corridor Preservation Fund. We didn't budget for the big Perry City road project. So we just need to make sure we're picking up all of that as we budget each year. So a lot of them are just fixes. I also put some money in there for spending of LATCF funds, which I had missed in getting some expenditures and revenue recognized there. And then there's just some other general kind of housekeeping things that we're adding in. So if you have any questions or whatever, that's basically, it explains everything we're doing, so.
I don't have any questions. Look through it.
You get, you
Thanks
get,
for everything you
Yes,
do.
so I'll make a motion when you go into public hearing.
okay, I have a motion to go to
Second.
public hearing by Commissioner Bingham, a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So we're in a public hearing for the proposed budget amendments to 2024 budget. Any public comment to speak to the budget? Seeing none? Okay, I'll come back to the commission.
I'll make a motion when we close the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, motion to close by Commissioner Bingham, second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Can I just say that with the inflationary stuff that's going on right now, not only in the county, but the nation, that this opening up a budget and things, we used to not do this very much, but it's just crazy nowadays on what we can do and not do. So I expect to see more of this going forward, so.
well, and as you notice, especially sadly, we had to move some of our correction, or some of our folks
Yeah,
in
that's what I'm saying.
public safety because of the tightness in the budget and making sure we're providing the service as best we can. And sadly, we don't have a lot of inmate workers there, so anyway.
Thanks, Charlene, for all the work.
Yep, okay, I'd accept the motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve 2024 budget amendments.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Bingham, a second from Commissioner Summer to approve the 2024 budget amendments. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes unanimously. Okay, thank you. Let's see. We skipped item number 11. We took that off. Let's go to item number 12. Scott Lyons, Ordinance 596, Outdoor Lighting Standards.
Okay, our first item, as stated, is ordinance 596. So the proposal here is adding a chapter 5-9, outdoor lighting standards. This is a new chapter, proposed to be a new chapter as part of our land use management and development code. This was proposed by a resident who sits on the Friends of the Bear River Bird Refuge nonprofit. Initially came with concerns regarding outdoor lighting and the effects that it has on migratory bird patterns and things like that. And he kind of did the bulk of the work, was quite helpful. He did a bunch of research as far as how outdoor lighting can affect, initially, like I said, he started with the bird refuge, but as he delved into it, he found significant other issues. And ultimately, the goal was to balance rural Utah, where we generally have darker skies, and a property owner's ability to or need to light their property without lighting neighbors' properties. So he put together a pretty good draft. We sat down with him as staff for a couple hours and went through that draft. We took it to the Planning Commission as a working report. They gave us some feedback. We worked through that again and then took it back to them for a public hearing, held a public hearing. At the hearing, there was only input in favor of the ordinance, and ultimately the Planning Commission recommends approval to you that this be added to the Land Use Code as Chapter 5-9. So I don't know if there's any questions regarding it.
So, I was just gonna say, will this help with that problem we've got out in Corinne?
That one's already in place before this
Pre-existing.
is in place, so
So it won't.
it will help prevent future
Future ones,
problems.
but not, yeah, you can't go retroactive on them.
Yeah.
Anything from Commissioner Bingham?
That was my question as well.
This is only for
Billboards and
established, well, this is just for established lighting situations, not temporary, correct? I mean, what I guess I'm saying is, like, for instance, I see in here, there's prohibited searchlights. I'm not worried about the laser source lights, strobe or flashing light. I mean, I guess strobe or flashing lights, it's not gonna impact our law enforcement search and rescue folks. Or if we had the helicopter come up, we don't have to worry about
Yeah.
that. This is strictly for building purposes only, correct?
Yeah, and if someone, even if somebody has a special event that they get certain lighting permitted through a special event permit, if they're doing something for a weekend, it wouldn't apply
could-
to
we
that
could-
either.
okay.
But
Just
it would apply to, permanent lighting as part of a facility, like the one out in Corinne. You also have, we've had residents also, now, the Walmart distribution center is within Corinne city limits, so this wouldn't apply to them, but we have heard from residents in that area saying how much of an impact that had on, the standard of lighting they were used to out there. It really creates kind of that glowing dome that they're not used to being out in rural Utah. But the same person who applied to have this changed in the county, he's planning on, he kind of came to the county first and then worked through the details, and then he's hoping to take this, we're planning to take this to Brigham City, to Perry City, to Corinne City, and to try and, work his way around all the different jurisdictions that have lighting regulations that may affect the bird refuge and may affect just rural Box Elder County, so.
Yeah, it was a trick to find where you could go and see the aurora borealis and the northern lights because of how many lights are in this county. So,
Yeah.
especially in some of the communities, it was,
Yeah.
you can go farther north in this county and it's
Found a
pretty
lot of
nice.
people stopping for a visit, right?
Yeah, that was true. So anyway, okay, if there's no other discussion on this item, we'll take an action on ordinance 596.
Make a motion, we pass ordinance 596, chapter 5-9 outdoor lighting standards.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Summers, a second from Commissioner Bingham to approve ordinance 596, outdoor lighting standards. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed unanimously.
Do you have that ordinance?
I do.
Okay. Then we'll go to next to, looks like Robles rezone from A20 RR to RR5.
So this project is located out in the Bothwell area, approximately 12,300 west Fouse Valley Road. So just as you're starting to head up the hill towards, the
Golden Pass.
pass, yep. So it's currently zoned A20. The applicant is requesting that, I should say it's 7.5 acres, 7.7 acres in size. So they're requesting that 2 acres of it be changed to general commercial, and that 5 acres, the 5.7 acres of it be changed to a rural residential zone. The surrounding zoning is, there's some single-family residential, some rural residential, and then some hillside, which is zoned 40 acre, MU 40. So this went to the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on it. At that public hearing, there was quite a bit of opposition, solely opposition, in fact. I think we had probably somewhere between 10 and 20 people show up that spoke in opposition to it. Probably more that show up that didn't necessarily speak, but were there to see what happened. Some of the concerns were with regard to it doesn't fit the general plan. Groundwater contamination, there's a lot of water companies that have wells right in that general vicinity. You've got West Corinne Water, Bothwell Water, as well as the, I forget the name of the subdivision right there. Marble Hills. Yeah, they have their own water source right there as well. So there are concerns as far as groundwater protection with a commercial use. Ultimately, after going through the review standards, so those review standards are whether the proposed amendment is consistent with goals, objectives, and policies of the county's general plan, whether the proposed amendment is harmonious with the overall character of existing development in the vicinity of the subject property, the extent to which the proposed amendment may adversely affect adjacent property, and the adequacy of facilities and services intended to serve the subject property. The Planning Commission found that it didn't meet any of those approval standards, and based on that, they recommended that the zone change request be denied.
Okay, any discussion? Any action?
I'll make a motion that we follow recommendation of the planning commission and deny the rezone A20 to R5.
I struggle with still the whole thing, but I'll second that motion.
Okay, have a motion from Commissioner Bingham, a second from Commissioner Summers to follow the Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendations to deny the Robles rezone from A20 to RR5. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. All right, last one, Corridor Preservation Fund request, Elwood 10400 North.
Yeah, so Elwood submitted a request to our office. So we take that request, we review it, we score it according to the score sheet, and then we take it to the COG and present it to them. They bounce it around, decide how they want to tackle it, if they want to approve it or deny it, or send the applicant back for more info. Anyway, the COG reviewed it at their last meeting. I should say, so this is 10,400 North in Elwood, so it's on the north end of Elwood. It's the road that leads to Tree Mountain's Public Works Building. So it goes there.
Rocket Road.
Yeah,
Yep.
Rocket Road.
Affectionately known as.
Yeah, so they're looking at doing some surface improvements to that road. This fund allows for up to 50% of the fund to be used for maintenance. So in scoring it, they did meet the minimum score, and the reason they met the minimum score is because they are contributing a 75% match on the project. So the more that a city contributes to the project, the more points they get. You can get points in other ways. So if you have a really strong project, then you may get enough points that you don't need to add any match. I would call this a weaker project, and that's why they had to add so much match in order to get some funding. So they're
So,
estimated.
Can I ask a question? When does it go from Elwood to Tree Mountain?
I think it's right around Tree Mountain's Public Works buildings.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Elwood would take care of, I think their project is from the state highway, west to the line there, just east of Tree Mountain's Public
okay.
Works buildings.
All right.
So their estimated project costs are $350,000 for the project, and their contribution at 75% leaves the COG funds, so the corridor preservation funds, at $87,500 of that $350 is what's requested, and that's what was approved by the COG. So that's what the group of mayors did approve, and ultimately the legislative body, so the county commission, is the final approving body on these projects. So
are they re-asphalting it? Are they widening it? What are they doing?
yeah, they're gonna basically grind off the top layer of it and recycle that and re-asphalt it and extend the shoulders somewhat and build those up a little bit as well.
Okay.
So
It's a busy road.
Yeah,
And we've done this before, so, yeah, I don't have a problem. But you can ask for comments or can I make a
Okay.
motion?
So at this point, I'll come back to the commission for any discussion of the Corridor Preservation Fund request.
I'll make a motion that we approve the corridor preservation fund request from Elwood for 10,400 north.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Summers, a motion from Commissioner Bingham, a second from Commissioner Summers to approve the Corridor Preservation Fund request for Elwood City for 10400 North. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed unanimously. Thank you.
thanks.
Does it have a project number?
Okay, let's go on to item number 13, Buildings and Grounds. Cody. Let's see, yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Cody Elam, Buildings and Grounds. I've been asked to compile some information. I'm here to present that information back to you guys to make a decision on the restroom at the fairgrounds. So the first one is the new restroom lines concession stands. I got that number from the bid that we received about 6 months ago. So the cost for the building to complete that building is $993,000. And then I was asked to find how many fixtures would be in that restroom / concession stand. So there's 14 sinks, 25 toilets, and 6 urinals. So that would cost to build that building. And then we need an additional sum there to run the utilities to it, the sewer being the biggest cost. Because the elevation, we'd have to do multiple manholes, and the elevation to get that drain to that road.
But we're gonna have to do that with the other one anyway, right?
No, we should be able to catch that. It's all gonna be able to catch with the existing restroom. So, and then the addition to the existing restroom, there's an existing restroom there that's been there for multiple years. This would go in and we'd replace all the fixtures in there, replace all the lighting, add all new handicap stalls, sinks, lights. So the bid estimate we got from our engineering firm was $347,000 to complete that, and there'd be 8 sinks, 21
That
toilets.
does nothing for the ticket booth and or
That's correct.
Right.
That's correct.
Just be
or for
additional.
the future.
This would just be a
Build up.
restroom. Yep, that's right, Stan. So 8 sinks, 21 toilets, and 4 urinals. So, and then the total budget that was allocated for this
And then
project.
how many sites are we gonna lose for food trucks with that expansion? So we'll lose that west side.
This
For the
we'd lose a couple, but I think there's some open stalls there. I mean, yeah, we'd lose a few there. The only thing.
There's only a few there anyway. That's what I'm just saying. So we'll lose most of the food trucks on the west side. Plus, it's gonna make a bigger cluster going back and forth if we don't, anyway.
Yeah, you're correct. The only thing there that we would have to move, there's a light pole that we'd have to move, but we could do that ourselves. That's in the way of this addition, so.
Okay.
So what does this do with the gas line? Have you already got that
Yeah,
done?
that's all refunded, but we got it all back.
Okay,
well,
so are you
it
gonna have
was-
to improve that, or what are you gonna have to?
No, because we can do everything off the electrical. The water heaters can be electrical, because it's only for hand washing that the tanks would be minimal. We do that on the other facilities. The only reason we're doing the gas line is for the concession portion of it.
Oh,
If
for
you're
the
doing
grill
Lions
side.
Club.
And we're not building that. But if it's decided, we wouldn't need to do that. So I was instructed to get that back, and now it's back in the coffers. We've actually got it refunded back from Dominion.
And so you're saying that the restroom then would be able to be handled by the current piping? Is that what you're saying?
That's correct.
And that's been inspected by Tremont and?
We've done some work on that ourselves. We've had to replace some of the line. So yeah, it's sufficient to, the only reason that we had to add that to the new one is because of the distance away and the elevation. The elevation is too far for us to catch that, get that fall from where it's at right now. So
Charlene, did you ever look at the fund with the tourism fund to see how long it'd take us to add up that rest of that money? Because honestly, I think this is just a bad decision to expand those and not modernize things to where we can have things go. So if it takes us a couple years to get it done right, I'd rather wait and pull the trigger in a couple years and get it done right than to try to kick this horse turd and get it done now and make that west side a mess. It's already a mess the way it is, and if we end up losing income off of food trucks just for the sake of putting in a couple more toilets, I think that's a mistake, so.
I know it increased this
Oh,
last
you need to come up here. Sorry, Marla just said. Sorry. And you were on vacation when we were texting back and forth, so. It's okay.
Yeah, so the tourism fund did increase last year. I think we're somewhere around, well, I hate to throw out a number because I really need to go look.
Okay.
I could text it to you, but why don't I do that? I don't want to throw something out there.
That's fine.
Off the top of my head. But it is, we are getting some surplus funds now that most of the majority of the projects have been completed and paid off out there.
Okay.
So tourism funds to pay this off. So that comes from taxes on
Restaurants
and
and
Hotels.
hotels.
hotel tax is what funds all of the tourism budget.
And so basically, that's what built the bleachers and everything else. We borrowed from the general fund and we paid everything back with tourism taxes. So it'd be basically the same thing here. Is that if you guys didn't feel good about doing now and doing it right, then, we could wait until, and we might have that. I mean, honestly, if I look at the budget numbers correctly, we probably got that.
Yeah, we'd probably have to look at the operating costs for the year and see
Right.
what we have to float us, but.
So how is this gonna be constructed? I mean, is it possible to build onto this building?
yeah, it's a cinder block building. It's to be a small addition. It's not a. It would be
So
pretty
in the
easy.
future, if we needed to build on, we could build on it?
No.
If we build it any further, we'd go into that main access. We'd have to move everything further.
It would go beyond the west gate is.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do now? Is they'd go toward the west gate, where the west gate it comes in? And if you went further, you'd be going right into that
Right
access where the
into
west gate
access.
comes
We'd
in.
have to move the gate further down.
Okay.
And like I said, you're gonna spend $500,000 to put in some toilets, and in the future, you're gonna have to turn around and do it again, so. Especially as much as it's growing, so.
Why would we have to do that? In a couple of years, do it again? Why?
Well, because we're losing revenue with the food trucks. We're narrowing everybody coming in and out, going in and out of that. It's probably gonna be a fire hazard, to say the least. And we're not fixing, the ADA that we need to get done.
Not
So
fixing a what?
we're not fixing the ADA problem we've got either, going to and from the other part of it, so. I just don't think it's a good idea to try to push those toilets in until we do it right, so. The only other thing I was thinking about, the ARPA funds that are dedicated to this, right? And they have to be spent by 2020,
Actually, that may change on you, so. They have not yet, but
They have not
it could be
yet.
decided by the 1st of June.
yeah,
If there's not obligated, you may not have these funds.
so that's what I'm saying, so I mean, we got them obligated,
Right,
yeah.
yep.
But I'm almost wondering if we could just switch the LAPTC funds to that and then obligate this ARPA funds and get them spent now. So it's basically same thing. Because the LAPTC funds don't have to be spent till ever. So we could transfer those around and be able to continue on. But this, like I said, it's a bad idea to pinch point it again. It's bad enough where it is now. And if we expand that, it's just gonna get worse. Plus, like I said, lose 3 of your vendors on the west side. There won't be any vendors except for the Lions Club, which needs to be redone in the first place. So the west side will actually have no food during the rodeo fair or monster trucks. And if you had a chance to go out to the monster truck shows, that looked like the fair was going on this weekend again, so.
So is there no other option for food trucks and things of that nature?
If you take out parking, but we've got to have so much ADA parking in that area too.
Yeah.
So if we don't move all this stuff to the north where we've got room, then. like I
Jan,
said-
do you know how much space we have out there for food trucks? I mean, I'm thinking on that north end, on that west side, there was space. I don't know, maybe there's not, there's a reason why food trucks can't be there. When you come up just, because I'm trying to figure in my mind, I know that there's been a couple of food trucks north of the west entrance, but there's actually about 3 or 4 spaces between there and where the Lions Club, where you get to the Lions Club that have not been used. Is there a reason why we're not using that space for food trucks and why we couldn't move the food trucks up further north?
So at the fair, we have, I think, 2 food vendors between the restrooms and the ticket booth.
Okay, so we'd lose those
then-
two possibly if we did this restroom the way we're
And
talking
then on the
about.
north end of the restrooms, there's been probably two
barbecue.
2 food booths or 2,
Mm-hmm.
whichever kind. And then we park
The Dodge
the
trucks.
rodeo sponsors pickups there,
Okay.
whoever they may be, Ford or
Yeah,
Ram or
whoever
whatever.
their sponsor is.
And the problem is, like I said, right now, you've got so many people standing in line, you can't even get to and from what's going on. So if you expand those to where the ticket booth is, you know, where you line up and coming back and forth, it's gonna be right into where the ticket booth is. And like I said, it's just a bad idea to take that, unless you wanna move it out into the parking lot, and then we lose parking. So if you wanted to expand it into the parking lot and made it an L shape, then, but that's still, you don't take care of the ticket booth, you don't take care of the Lion Club, you don't take care of the ADA. So to spend $500,000 to just put new bathrooms in, I just as soon do it right, and I guess we just put more porta potties to make it more available during the fair.
I guess that's the point I'm wondering is what's the highest priority? I'm guessing if you have 4 rodeos and you fill that up, maybe the restrooms are the highest priority. I don't know.
How many nights per year are we using that rodeo arena, I mean, besides the fair, during the fair week? And we had I know we had the monster truck show and
We
a
have
few other things.
monster trucks, trash car races, demolition derbies,
Ropings,
truck pulls, then we have big team ropings. Then we
barrel
have
racing.
barrel races in the summertime, at least on Wednesday nights usually.
Okay.
4-H
And our food
uses
trucks
it.
there then?
No, the food trucks only come in when they're big events, like ticketed events. And that
Okay.
would be the monster trucks, the trash car races, demolition derbies. The team roping, there's not, most everybody that comes there is on a horse, so that food, maybe if they have one food vendor for that.
Okay. So we're really only impacting food vendors for about 7, 8 nights a year is what we'd be talking about if we if we went with the restroom as we're talking about, just expanding where we're at.
And I still think it's a fire hazard. You can't have that many people in that short a place of time for people coming in and out. So we're gonna get right back into the ADA problem, but.
Have you talked to the county fire marshal or anything of that nature?
No, because this really, the footprint of this new one doesn't encroach that sidewalk portion of it. It wouldn't encroach any more than the food trucks that we have there now, so. But if it's a fire hazard, I don't know.
So maybe we need to verify with Kevin and then we could take action in the next
It'd be
meeting.
Tremont City.
Oh, it's Tremont City?
Yeah, because that place is,
Does Tremont City actually do that? Because I know in the past, they've
Yeah,
kind of
that's-
deferred to
well,
our county
that's
to,
true, but if there is a fire egress or something, they're the jurisdiction and they may come back and say, you guys.
Jan, what's your opinion?
My opinion, we need restrooms. And if it takes getting it in a phase to get more restrooms, I hate to put porta potties down there. Do you guys want to go use the porta potties?
Are you
I don't
kidding?
like them.
I'll find a tree first.
I don't like them.
okay.
But we definitely increased the seating. We need to upgrade or get some better restrooms on that west side.
Okay.
So that didn't answer your question. That
No? answered mine.
We do know that we need more restrooms there. There's no
I
doubt.
need
We've heard from the people that that's one of the big keys is more
So do you
restrooms on
think
that
you
west
need
side.
the restrooms, the expansion of those restrooms are where they need to be, or? Yeah, we forgot about the high school and state rodeos.
But we lost them because of lack of restrooms, right? Yeah, one of the concerns. Okay. Well, do you want to take any action today, or do we want to check with the fire marshal?
Well, let's check and see what Charlene's got in the budget for money too.
Actually, I'd kind of like to take action. I'm really hesitant to build something and not have money enough to cover the bill.
But that's what I'm saying. She's saying we've got enough money to cover the bill.
Well, she's not sure, yeah.
So let's just wait until we find out if we've got enough money to cover the bill.
Okay, in the meantime, Cody, can you take me out there and make sure I understand all these things?
Yeah,
Okay.
Somebody?
So
Okay.
we'll put this back on the agenda for May 29th. That'll give us some time to go out and look at the facility. And we check with the fire marshal, both Tremont and ours, to make sure that there's not an issue with fire code.
so with the egress, are you, the fire issue, are you saying because the walking through, I mean, where's the issue at? So I can have the point of reference of your
Yeah.
concern.
All of that.
Would be evacuation, is that what we're talking about?
Okay,
I was gonna say, if that's the case, the fair would be illegal. Have you ever tried to walk through the fair?
Oh, I'm just saying the pinch points, that's the problem.
Okay.
I mean, we laugh about it, but the pinch points and the ADA and stuff is what's going on right now. And the ADA's made us do a bunch of different things on both sides of the fair, so we can laugh about it all we want, but that's gonna create a
No,
bigger
I
pinch
wasn't laughing
point.
about it, Stan. I was saying, when you go walk through the fair, you have to walk sideways because there's so many people
Yeah,
there.
but we're not talking about the fair there. We're talking about what we're trying to do with the rodeo grounds in the future, so.
Might not be a bad idea to have another gate on that west fence, that brings up the gate.
Could put,
But then we just have to, then we just have to man it.
Well, we would just unlock it.
it could be an emergency access gate type of thing like you've done on the east side. Okay. That's something maybe, so we can, between now and May 29th, we can go out and take a look at it, physical facility, and put it back on the agenda for May 29th then, and then we'll have the numbers from
Then we'll have the
Charlene at
number
that
for
point.
Charlene. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's go to, let's see, noxious weed grant. Wyatt.
I don't even have a, I don't have a drawer here anymore.
All right. Wyatt Freeze, with the weed department. Hopefully this one will be a little easier after that last one.
Don't get confident.
Yeah. This is just a reimbursement from the Utah Weed Supervisors Association for work that we're already doing currently. We've had this grant for multiple years, so it's almost a renewal, but it's for the amount of $7,000, specifically for noxious weeds within the Class 1A and Class 1B classifications on the state noxious weed list, which are EDRR weeds. These are weeds that either are not found in Utah yet, and they're on our borders, or they're just barely creeping in. So we target these specifically to try and kick them back out and eradicate them. So,
So do you have an example of some of those weeds?
yes. Within our county, yellow star thistle, goat shrew, elongated mustard, common St. John's wort, cutleaf vipergrass, Dalmatian toadflax, yellow toadflax, and garlic mustard. Those are the ones we currently target within this.
Most of them are coming down through Idaho, right?
Yes, quite a few are coming down through Idaho. They have different weeds or different classifications than we do. So like the elongated mustard, it's noxious here. Up there, it's not. So they don't really worry about it. So a lot of it coming out of Cache County, the garlic mustard, the toad flaxes you got coming actually from other counties further south in the state. Seeing a lot of problems down there. So this has been really successful. We've been really successful in either eliminating populations or keeping these down to a minimum. Some of these are new, like the garlic mustard we just found last year up in Manaway. But like yellow star thistle, we've had for years and years and have got a pretty good control on it. So, yeah.
So you just need a motion to,
A motion to sign, to get a signature on this grant from the commission chair.
Yep, we just need to have a motion to approve the noxious weed grant contract.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2024 noxious weed grant, contract 24-17.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Bingham, a second from Commissioner Summers to approve the noxious weed grant contract 2417. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Awesome.
motion passed.
Thank you,
unanimously.
guys.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Wyatt.
All right, let's go to Jenica.
So I just have an update to the voluntary shared leave pool policy, and it's exactly as it read at department head meeting last week.
Okay. Go ahead.
So we're gonna propose to change the waiting period from 25 days to 14 days. And then we will require an opt-in or opt-out form each year to participate.
Okay, any discussion to the change in the voluntary shared leave pool program?
That's the only changes.
That was it. Is
There's
it-
a couple minor grammatical and title changes, but that's it.
Okay,
Do we have a motion?
ready for motion? I will make a motion to update policy 21, voluntary shared leave pool.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Bingham, a second from Commissioner Summers to update policy 21, voluntary shared leave pool. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
you.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you. Okay, let's see, we're gonna go to item number 18, public interest, presentation of crime prevention science program. Dr. Sam Arungwa, is that right? Okay. I wasn't sure if I was pronouncing it correctly.
Close.
Good, okay, thank you, welcome here.
You nailed it.
Hey, that's good. If you'll just state your name in the microphone for us, and then the time will be yours to present to us.
My name is Dr. Sam Arungwa. I work for Utah Tech University as a part-time professor, and then I am in charge of crime prevention science program for the state here in Utah.
Did I need to call somebody with the prison system?
I'm sorry.
Do we need to call somebody, or are you good to give your presentation?
Yes, the director for, I'm gonna mess up his title, but he's in charge of education for Utah Department of Corrections. His name is Brian Farver. If it's okay, I can call him on.
If you just need to
She
listen.
can, she can actually call him on the phone there to
okay.
connect him in.
Put him on speaker.
That way we can
Okay,
hear him.
Great. So you need his phone number?
Yeah.
Okay, let me pull it up here. 801-888-3796. And I'm
His
gonna,
first name again?
Brian Farver.
And he's expecting us.
Yes, he
Okay.
is. He thought he was joining on Zoom, but I did text him that we're doing phone.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna tell him Miss Young is calling him.
Hi, Brian. This is Marla with Box Elder County. We are going to put you on our speakerphone at our commission meeting. So hopefully you can hear, yep, I can hear you. Hopefully you can hear us. Oh,
Just hang up on
I
him.
did just hang up.
I was gonna say, don't you have to put that on speaker
I
first?
did put it on speaker
Oh.
first, so maybe I'll just, okay, will you tell me the number again?
801-888.
Here, I got it.
Oh, there you go.
888-3796.
Hey, sorry about that.
Can we hear you now?
Okay, can you hear us?
Are you still there?
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Farver, for being on here with us. We're going to have the presentation. Do you want him to talk first, or do you want to talk first?
If we can let him talk first.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Farver, if you want to present to us about this crime prevention science program.
Yes, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here today. I apologize I'm not able to be there in person. My name is Brian Fox. I'm the education coordinator for the Utah Department of Corrections. And I have been partnering with Dr. Sam for the last few months to help solve a problem that the Utah Department of Corrections has not been able to solve for a long time, which is how to deliver high-quality post-secondary education programs with all of our county jail partners. I know right now UDC partners with Box Elder, I believe, for approximately 40 beds in the county jail there. And it's a partnership we're very happy about. And what we've been disappointed in ourselves with is that, we've been unable to provide high quality education programs to these county jail partners like we do at our prison facilities. And Dr. Sam has stepped in and really been able to fill that need for us in finding out how to provide these programs for our residents in our county jail programs. We love these programs and we support them and we endorse them, and I'm a huge advocate for them because we know they reduce recidivism. Individuals who participate in these programs are less likely to offend and less likely to return to incarceration. It saves the counties, it saves the states a lot of money. For every dollar we spend on education, we save $4 to $6 on reincarceration costs. And most importantly, it changes the lives of the individuals involved. So I just want to make sure that, I'm a big advocate for what Dr. Sam is proposing and the programs that he's building with these county jail partners. He's in essence just kind of like a third arm that the UDC now has to be able to provide these programs in these locations that are sometimes hard for us to reach. So I'm just ecstatic to be able to support him in the work that he's doing.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any questions that I can answer?
Right now.
Not at this time, but if you can stay online while we have him present, and that way if there's a question for either of you, we can ask either one of you. Is that okay?
Sure, I'm happy to stay on.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. We could just end right there. I was listening to the kind things he said about me. So I just did this presentation in San Juan County, and thankfully I have a copy of it that I should have submitted to you, Commissioner Summers. So I'm happy to leave a copy, but it's a very simple idea. I have a PhD in juvenile justice, which is unusual. Most people will get it in criminal justice, but there's only one university that has a PhD in that. So I was one of the few people in this world that got into that program. And what I learned is that, which was shocking to me, I was not prepared for this, is that we can prevent crime. Normally we focus on waiting. The traditional way of solving crime is we wait for someone to break the law and then we respond, arrest them, prosecute, and if it's serious enough, the judge might send them to prison. Then they end up with Brian in corrections. What I learned in my PhD is how to actually prevent crime from happening. We call it primary prevention. And if we fail in that regard, or if we didn't succeed and someone commits crime, then we have another chance, what we call secondary prevention science. And that is something that we are dying to help every elected official to understand. And you didn't have the privilege I have of sitting down and have somebody cram this process down for years. And so I thought, who is going to help elected officials to actually implement this? This is like the best thing in criminal justice. And normally the way you learn as elected officials is that you pay money up front and say, we want Dr. Sam to come and be our crime prevention scientist. And most counties don't have a budget for that. So it drove me crazy, as you can imagine, watching our prisons filled up with people. We know that at least half of them, if you give them the prevention science program, they will never commit crime again. And I'll let you imagine how much money that saves us if you can cut crime in half in Box Elder. So we keep spending a huge amount of money. In your case, it's millions. Statewide is billions, and I'll let you imagine what it is nationwide. So I came here with my wife. We're both professors, and we came to work for Utah State University, and they hired me to become their crime prevention scientist. So I teach in a classroom like any other professor, but I have a secondary appointment to work with the 29 counties on crime prevention. I never made it to Box Elder. I was always passing you each month when I go to our headquarters in Logan, and they said, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm down to find 5 counties." And it dawned on me that I would retire without getting to each county. So after 3 years at USU, I made a painful decision to focus on this full time. So I still teach. I teach part-time for Utah Tech. And the reason I went to Utah Tech is that they have a partnership with the states to offer these programs for juvenile prisons. So I am working on that project, and we are now offering higher education and high-income work training in all of the juvenile, I call it juvenile prison. I think they have funny names, detention center, but essentially where they incarcerate young people in each county. And I am now working on this year. This is my priority, is to work with all 29 counties to establish crime prevention in their justice system at the local level. Unfortunately, I did not bring a pot of money. Normally, when we do this, you would have a grant in millions of dollars. I am doing it as a volunteer. So I established a nonprofit that I call Prevention Science Corporation. And so I am not here representing any university. I am here on my own and the organization that I formed. And I formed that organization so I can partner with the state agencies. I am now collaborating, as you heard, with Utah Department of Corrections to work with the state prisons. But they have this special contract with you and with about 20 other counties, inmate placement program, I believe it's called IPP. Mm-hmm. So I asked them if we could attach this to that, since they already have that relationship, and offer you more programs. It will not cost you money. So I'm not prepared to talk about money today, because what made this crazy idea, what made it exciting, is that I discovered as a PhD student that professors would volunteer if you know how to ask them. And I thought, why are we not asking them to volunteer to teach for free? And everybody looked at me like crazy, like, you can't ask doctors to teach for free. And I believed that for a few years until I found out that lawyers have been practicing law for free. In fact, they asked them to do that in year 1. And medical doctors borrowed that. So a lot of doctors perform free surgery every single month. So I thought, why are we not doing that? So that's how this idea was born. I created that organization to ask professors if they would be willing to teach for free. And secretly, we did the survey, and most of them said yes. About a quarter said, yes, we'll do it for you, Sam. And I went back with my team. We spent a year figuring out how do we increase that number. And we found out that if I wasn't the one asking, if it is the governor or the president of the United States, almost every professor would say yes. Even the ones that didn't vote for these people because of their respect for the office. And I said, what if it is the county commissioners or the mayor? 50% will say that. If you go to the governor, it's 75%. If you go to the White House, it will almost be 100%. So I thought, that is our $1 million grant that we are waiting for, is if we just know how to ask. So that's all I take credit for, is that I know how to beg professors to work for free.
Hey, Doctor, I was just going to
Yes.
tell you that, so we have an association called the Utah Association of Counties, and I think we should get you involved with Brandy Grace and
Oh my gosh.
and let you come talk to like
All
our,
the
our
counties.
USAC group,
I would love to
and
do
that would get you in front of all 29
Counties.
counties at one time, so you don't
Thank
have to
you.
onesie twosie us.
Yes.
Well, and actually,
That
probably the
would-
best place would be, we're actually having the CJCC meeting.
That'd be another-
I was just going to ask
And I
if
was
you
gonna
have
say,
that.
so if you've got a card or some information with you,
Yes.
I think we actually have, I can't remember the next the meeting's in June, I believe. They're having a defense
I'll be there.
thing, and we would love to get you there. I
Thank
think
you.
that would be beneficial. That way you are affecting all
Yes.
29 counties. Not that we don't want you to go to all 29 county commission meetings, but we can facilitate, because all 29 counties have somebody, at least
Yes.
one commissioner,
Yep.
present at that meeting.
That's
So
a
that
great
would be
idea.
I would love that.
so if you were to put this program in place, I mean, if we were to put the ask and we would have professors come here to our jail, is that what would happen?
Yes, we have different, some will say, yes, I'll come in person. Others will say, I will only do it if it's online. So we offer different formats, we
Okay.
call it, and let them choose which one works for them. And yes, the goal is to have as many. We will do what we call needs assessment, and with your CC, Jesse, and your sheriff. Once we know what your need is, that takes a few hours. If I have a dozen assistants helping me, then we would put out a call to the professors. So if we need an English class, we talk to all the English professors. We have secret channel where they all listserv, and we anticipate they will volunteer. If nobody volunteers in Utah, you are in luck, because I was born and raised in Nigeria, and missionaries from Utah converted me and brought me over here. That's how I was able to go to college. So I have a vested interest to go to Africa if I need to and bring you professors. I wasn't the only one. They converted a lot of people like me, and all of us would do anything to say thank you for this opportunity. And so that's what I'm tapping into, is all of the people that Utah has done favors. This is an opportunity that if nobody would do it in Utah, we would do an international
We
call.
make sure you talk to Cade, our chief deputy that's in the back, and make sure you give him his card too.
Yeah,
so
we'd love that.
We can get something set up.
Yes.
So if you'll give me the information, we'll make sure that
Yes,
we
I have-
invite you.
It's a cheap card. It has all my information in it.
That's all we need.
I will provide that to the folks from UAC and specifically the CJCC folks that are
Please.
dealing with criminal justice right now.
I would love that. We have a wish list of a dozen people we want to talk to. I just presented to they have a nice acronym, USA, Utah Sheriffs Association.
Correct.
And I spoke to all the sheriffs, and that opened doors. So UAC is our next,
Right.
but I don't know anybody there. So if you can connect.
get you the invite.
That would
We can
be
get you.
awesome. I'm dying.
And this
to-
is your son that's with you here today?
This is my son, also employee number 1 of Prevention Science.
Employee number 1. And how old are you? 11 years old. Well, we appreciate you coming in and giving us a presentation.
Sure.
And I just want to throw out to Mr. Carver online, I noticed last night on the news that you had a large number of graduates from Salt Lake Community College that was recognized last night
Yes.
at the correctional facility, which
Yep,
is.
I
which
came
is-
here for that graduation, and in Salt Lake, and also Decker Lake, we attended that, and on the youth side, I wish you were there. It's almost as, if not better than regular graduation because of what they went through. And
That's amazing.
so that's what we're trying to do. After that, I'll talk about that when we come for you to take action. We want to guarantee them what we call high-income work if they get through and get their higher education. And if we can do that, half of them will never commit crime again. And that's the secret to preventing instead of reducing crime. We want to stop it from happening in the first place.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
you for your
Thank you,
welcome.
Mr. Carver, for online. And we appreciate that presentation. This is for your son. We'll give him one of our golden spike pins here to take with him for being here. So and we will get you, we'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
that presentation.
Coming up.
Thank
And
you all. Have a good day.
Thank you.
And Rebecca Dilge said, I'm supposed to tell you hello, and she would have been here with you, but she got caught in traffic, so.
She's a help. I can tell you, I'm so glad she's from Box Elder.
We're glad she's from Box Elder too.
Take care of the broadband. As you know, she's in charge of broadband.
Yep.
And she will fund it, so.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Okay, that takes us to toward the end of our meetings here. We have public comment at this time. No action will be taken. Those wishing to make public comment, you have signed the comment roll we have there here in front of us. Speakers will be allowed 1 3-minute opportunity to speak regardless of the number of items they wish to address. Speakers will address the comments to the county commission only, and this is a time to be heard. There will be no back and forth dialogue with the commissioners. And speakers have the right to file copies of their remarks or supporting information with the county clerk, and the county clerk will make that information available to the county commission. So at this time, we have 2 individuals who have asked to speak. We'll start with Deanna Hardy.
Okay, Deanna Hardy Brigham. The Constitution defined in the Noah Webster 1828 American Dictionary of the English Language states, the established form of government in a state, kingdom, or country, a system of fundamental rules, principles, and ordinances for the government of a state or nation. In free states, the Constitution is paramount to the statutes or laws enacted by a legislature, limiting and controlling its power. And in the United States, the legislature is created and its powers designated by the Constitution. The word paramount, defined by Noah Webster's dictionary, states, paramount, an adjective, superior to all others, possessing the highest title or jurisdiction. Eminent, of the highest order, superior to all others. Paramount also means the noun, the chief, the highest in rank or order. The U.S. Constitution and the Utah Constitution is the law of the land in our state. We should be following the law. Whenever the federal or state lawmakers pass a bill contrary to the law, it should be nullified. The law is what you took an oath to support, obey, and defend. In Article 1, Section 2, all political power is inherent in the people, and all free governments are founded on their authority for the equal protection and benefit, and they have a right to alter or reform their government as the public welfare may require. Article 12, Section 20, it is the policy of the state of Utah that a free market system shall govern trade and commerce in this state. Why are you going forward with the Rural Economic Board? Does this board provide equal protection and benefit? Are you not going against the free market system? Are you not picking winners and losers in business? Are you not going against the Constitution? The Box Elder Committee of Liberty requests an official response to these questions as well as to all the other petition for redress of grievances that have been submitted before the Box Elder County Commissioners. The people have a right to receive answers from the representatives as to why you are going against our Constitution and violating your oaths of office. Thank you. And I just wanted a quick comment on the county fair. It is a socialist fair. You are forcing everybody to pay for it. We shouldn't force people to pay for other people's entertainment. So keep that in mind as you go and do further discovery. The fair should be sustainable on its own, and it should be taken off the government's books. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, next person up for public comment will be Fred Hayes.
I have comments, or my paper, I'll leave with you when I'm done.
If you'll start with your name.
Fred Hayes, Bear River City. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the government, of the governed. Our form of government, our entire constitutional republic, is based on consent. We, the people, not only have a right and duty to participate in that consent, we have a right and duty to verify that consent. From elections of the recent past, we have learned that state election offices across the country handed control of elections over to private, profit-driven technology vendors that shroud the entire election process in secrecy and lawfare. The Election Act of Utah's legislature is based entirely on the advice and input of the Lieutenant Governor. There is too much power in one person. It's used to trample on the inherent rights of citizen voters and county sovereignty. Utah citizens have realized they cannot simply assume or trust that our Lieutenant Governor is honest and or she knows what she's doing by allowing a private vendor to conduct our elections. We cannot simply assume or trust that the secret proprietary digital computerized election process used by this private vendor is giving us true and accurate consent. It goes without saying that too much hangs in the balance. The salvation of the state is watchfulness in the citizen, watchfulness, not assumption or trust. Our present Lieutenant Governor refuses to allow Utah citizens the watchfulness necessary to verify their consent. In the last 2 decades, citizens were not allowed to verify their consent, even though they were left hanging with a hefty bill for the expensive secret process. The private vendor behind the secret process is ES&S. The certification document for ES&S tabulators states that they can scan the paper ballot and or vote summary card into electronic cast vote records. These cast vote records were standardized to allow for the secret work of the tabulators to be audited. The intended audience included the general public, but Utahns have not been allowed to access these public documents. Why? Why is the Lieutenant Governor so resistant to citizen watchfulness? Why is she so resistant to transparency and verifiability? And to citizens being able to verify their election results? Everyone should want this. These secret tabulators were not sold to voters for their accuracy. Actually, they weren't sold to voters at all. They were sold to election officials for their convenience and for federal funding. Convenience is not the main priority in elections. The supreme priority is accuracy, verifiable accuracy. Elections do not belong to election officials, candidates, or corporations. They belong to we the people, the collective body politic. We have a right to know that a given election is honest. The only way to know is through transparency and verifiability.
Okay, your 3 minutes is up. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, that concludes our public comment. We've taken care of our warrant register and any personnel action, so I'll take one final motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Have a motion to adjourn, have a second, all in favor? Aye. We are adjourned.